Well, Berkeley's become a powder keg. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Over the weekend, both pro and anti-Trump protesters went to the streets to demonstrate their freedom of speech by beating the ever-loving crap out of each other. Because we're adults. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Gary Varner. This is Renegade Reason, and today, the Berkeley battle. So let's get into it. That beautiful ballad you just heard is known as Dance of the Dumpster. So let's read this article really quick. Hundreds of pro-Trump demonstrators and counter-protesters clashed Saturday at a Patriots Day rally in Berkeley, the third time the groups engaged in violent confrontations in city streets in recent months. Fistfights broke out near Martin Luther King Jr. Civic Center, where Trump supporters had scheduled a rally. Fireworks and smoke bombs were thrown into the crowd, and a few demonstrators were doused with pepper spray. Both groups threw rocks and sticks at each other and used a large trash bin as a battering ram as the crowd moved around the perimeter of the park. One bank boarded up its ATMs before the rally as a precaution. About 250 police officers were deployed on the scene by mid-afternoon after officials sought assistance from the neighboring Oakland Police Department. 21 people were arrested, including some on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon, according to Officer Brian White of the Berkeley Police Department. 11 people were injured, with at least 6 taken to the hospital for treatment, including one stabbing victim. Stuart Rhodes, founder of the citizen militia group known as the Oath Keepers, said he came from Montana with about 50 others to protect Trump supporters. They were joined by bikers and others who vowed to fight members of an anti-fascist group if they crossed police barricades. "I don't mind hitting," the counter-demonstrators, Rhodes said. "In fact, I would kind of enjoy it." But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, nobody dies in this story. They just get really bad boo-boos. See, what'd I tell you? Now look, at this point there are very little details out about all of this, but basically everything is essentially the same. The Trump protesters had organized this thing ahead of time, and the anti-Trump protesters basically threw a bunch of shit at him trying to shut him down. And this has been the problem with Berkeley. You know, unlike most protests, which are about a political issue, these protests are done with the specific purpose of silencing people, and that is a real problem. That's really all I can say about this. I can only reiterate the point I have made in the past about these particular protests. And of course, the media is doing its usual liberal spin on this thing. If you noticed in the article we just read, it was pro-Trump supporters versus anti-fascists. So of course implying that the pro-Trump protesters were of course fascist, which is ridiculous. And they say this without irony, which is just absolutely incredible. These protests, these liberals are actually going in there with the express purpose, throwing crap, starting fights with the express purpose of shutting speech down. which is the exact thing a fascist would do. And of course, the police made their opinion on the matter perfectly clear by really doing nothing other than just arresting people after the fact. They weren't too interested in stopping the violence, and one can only guess as to why that is. These riots are an indicator that the left is moving into a very dark place, like the brown shirts of Nazi Germany dark place. You have to remember that the purpose of propaganda is to dehumanize your opponent. If you can manage to dehumanize your opponent, then you can justify doing inhuman things to that said opponent. Hashtag Punch a Nazi Day. If you can convince yourself that your opponent is inherently bad, that gives you permission to behave badly, which means that basically what's going on is that the media propaganda, which has been in full force for about 20 years, is finally taking full effect. In Berkeley, at least. Unfortunately, I really don't have anything else to say about the matter other than it's probably going to get a lot worse before it gets better. But we'll see, and I hate to leave it on that kind of a cynical note, but there's really no other place left to go with it. I mean, this was not really surprising, I'm sorry to say, but definitely unfortunate, and there's really nothing else to say except expect more of this in the future, and it's probably going to get worse. And on that pleasant note, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe, and all of that good stuff. And, of course, check out some of the other videos I've done. And as always, guys, thank you so much. I always appreciate your time. God willing, we'll see you again. Peace.